Woo-hoo! What a game. What a game, what a game, what a game. The Premier League is back. I was very excited to do this video. I was not going to be excited up until Federico Chiesa decided to, out of nowhere, spawn on a football pitch and score in the 88th minute. An absolute beautiful peach of a goal, and then go and run down the fucking pitch and then slide into the corner, and Arne Slot losing his shit and everybody losing their fucking shit. The Premier League is back. What a game. I honestly have so many things to say, but I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to do the pros and the cons of what I watched. So the game started with a beautiful You'll Never Walk Alone, celebrating the life of Diogo Jota. With a beautiful gesture for his brother and for himself, and his family was there, apparently, supposedly. I'm not sure if that's confirmed, but I saw that circulating around social media spaces. I'm really happy, to be honest with you. I thought the performance in the first half was terrible, to be honest with you. It looked slow. People are getting used to playing together. You could tell Konate looked a little dodgy this game, made a lot of mistakes. I would say out of all the signings, the two that stood out to me were Hugo Ekitike and Jeremy Frimpong. Jeremy Frimpong looked really good today, I have to say. I think defensively, he is smaller, but what he doesn't have in size, he makes up with his pace and his strength. I think he's got a very good, low center of gravity. He holds the ball well. He shields well in corner situations when he is getting pressed and when he is trying to clear the ball out of harm's way. I thought Ekitike was brilliant. He looked like he fit in like a glove. It looks like he's been playing there for, 2-3 years. There were some moments, obviously, where the connections were being built on the pitch, but his finish was everything that we've been asking for as Liverpool fans from a number 9, bar Diogo Jota, because Jota, I think, is one of the most talented strikers that Liverpool have had in those clinical situations. It was very reminiscent of that. Calm, collected, and just an overall sound finish. The second goal, Cody Gakpo, brilliant goal, cuts it on from his left-hand side, goes inside top of the 18-yard box, takes a heavy touch, and then hits it into the bottom right corner if you're looking towards the keeper's bottom left corner. Again, I thought he was good today. He had some good link-up play with Ekitike. And then after that second goal, there were some issues. And there were some issues throughout the game. And in particular, it's transitions, right? We talked about this in the last video. Liverpool transitionally are a gettable team. And I think they will figure that out when the signings link better together, play more together, and understanding, get a feeling for how they function in pivotal situations. Liverpool need a 6. I thought Szoboszlai was better today than in the Community Shield. I thought McAllister looked like he had not played a lot this summer because of, for whatever reason, injury or something along the lines of that. Gravenberch was a huge miss, and I think the substitutions were interesting, to say the least. I have to say I was very unimpressed with Endo when he came on. They played him at right back, then they brought on Joe Gomez. Jones was non-existent when he came on. I thought this was a good opportunity for Curtis Jones to come on and change the game, give a little more control. But transitionally, Bournemouth did this last year. They're a good attacking team, man. Antoine Semenyo, what a player. And by the way, we also probably should talk about what happened. There's no room for racism in football, in sport. It was very unfortunate that happened. They had to stop the game. That person should be banned and should never go to the stadium again. But moving on from that, Antoine Semenyo, what a player, man. I mean, talk about grit and some determination after what happened. Most people maybe would feel uncomfortable continuing to stay on the pitch after something like that happens to you, but he scored 2 great goals. 2 great goals. The second one in particular, I mean, the way that his agility in that moment to just kind of chop it onto his left, put it into the corner, side-footing Alisson. I mean, it was a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant goal. So Bournemouth honestly deserved something from the game. But what we've seen with Liverpool, even since Klopp, they know how to win games. And when it comes to these moments, what Liverpool has outside of any other team right now in the Premier League is firepower, and we saw it. And if they add Isak to that, it is insanity to even think. But we also saw that there was some questions about the squad depth, and this was a huge moment for one person in particular, and that is Federico Chiesa. Federico Chiesa is a phenomenal football player who has unfortunately been littered with injuries. And what this moment showed in particular was he is a clutch player. He is a guy you bring onto a pitch. He scored in the Carabao Cup final. Granted, Liverpool lost the game, but he scored, I think, with his second or third touch of the game. He is a clinical fox-in-the-box player. He might not be the fastest, but what he makes up in pace, he has in footballing IQ. Chiesa, I think, needs to stay this season. I don't want him to leave. I don't think Liverpool should go out and buy another left winger. What they need to do is bring in a striker. I think they need another forward. They need to bring a center half. And if it's possible, and I don't know what Stefan Bajcetic is going to be in this squad, but if the idea is that he's the backup, potential second or third option in the sixth position to Ryan Gravenberch, I'm not sure if that's good enough, considering that I love Bajcetic, but he needs to be healthy, and he's just unreliable. Endo doesn't fit the system as a six. I think he comes in as a utility guy, maybe similar in the sense of like a James Milner, where he can play multiple positions and just get a job done when you need it. Liverpool need a central defensive midfielder. I'm adamant on that. They were looking for one last summer. They turned Gravenberch into it. They lost out on Zubimendi. They were looking for the guy from Atalanta, Ederson. I think another central defensive midfielder that will be able to rotate with Gravenberch is needed. Transitionally, Liverpool looked terrible. They were stepping in way too high. You know, Van Dijk left on an island. Konate was awful today. I'm not sure if Konate looks himself. And I think the issue that we're having now is how much are the contract negotiations affecting his overall play? And is it something that is worth exploring, that if he doesn't re-sign, do they sell him this summer and say, you know what? If this is going to be a frequent issue, a frequent occurrence, then we need to maybe move on from you, sell you to a team that you want to go play for, whatever, whoever has the best bid. To be honest with you, I couldn't really give a fuck where he plays for if he leaves. That needs to be a serious topic of discussion. But overall, the first half performance was how I envision it going. Slow, players getting a feel for the pitch, looking around, you know, experiencing Anfield for the first time, getting to know one another in the first game of the season. Second half, it kind of clicked. It looked a little better. Liverpool, again, had about a 15-20 minute stretch where it looked a little dodgy. They looked gettable on the transition. Set pieces, they actually surprised me. There were some moments where it was like, oh shit, but it looks like that deep line that they're going to be doing on set pieces is actually a great idea, considering that it gives the players time to go into the ball as opposed to going away from the ball, since this team is lacking in size. So I am curious to see how they set up in the second match of the season against Newcastle. I don't think Gravenberch will be there because of the suspension, so this is a huge, huge opportunity for Newcastle to try and go at Liverpool and get something. They play Villa tomorrow morning, LA time, tomorrow, I think at 12 or something, 12:30 kickoff, if I'm correct in saying, at Villa Park. So this is a huge moment for Newcastle next week, and a huge moment for Liverpool. You know, there's so much drama. You know, they've shown in that last 5-10 minute stretch when Chiesa scores, Salah scores, that this team is lethal going forward. And we haven't even, and the scary part is we haven't even seen the best out of the facilitator, out of Florian Wirtz. We've seen this team score 4 goals, and Florian Wirtz wasn't even involved in most of these goals. So that in itself is a positive, you know, that there's a lot of positives and a lot of negatives as well in the performance, but I would say the good outweighs the bad. I think it's going to take some time for this team to click. And if Liverpool are able to win matches playing like this in big moments, and then it clicks later down the season, I think they'll win the league. If they have a slow start and it looks like, oh, you know, it's going to take a couple months for these guys to gel, to get acclimated to the league, then it could be an open race. But Liverpool just have the firepower and just this mentality to go on and win the league that only really Manchester City has. You know, Chelsea is a very young team, a lot of players, a lot of drama at the football club, but they look good. Can they go on a run in the beginning of the season and turn a few heads? Arsenal, it's how many seasons are we going to have this conversation? How many times will it take for those guys to win a title? You know, it's been 3 years in a row now, second place. I'm not sold on them, but if they have a hot start and we've seen their defensive stability, then it could be closer this season. And injuries, of course. Injuries are a huge factor for any team, and they were unfortunate with injuries last season. I don't want to ever digress that. As a Liverpool fan, we've seen that the year after they won the league during COVID. Multiple players, a plethora of players were injured, and we somehow finished third. So it was a great performance. I'm excited to see the rest of the weekend. If you enjoyed the video, leave us a like, give us a follow, give us a comment, click on the link. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll be back soon with more football content. I'm Danilo. Peace and love. Bye-bye.